You're listening to the Quint's podcast.
मैं पल दो पल का शायर हूँ, पल दो पल मेरी कहानी है. And just like that, MS Dhoni ended one of the most illustrious and successful cricket careers of a generation. पल दो पल मेरी हस्ती है, पल दो पल मेरी जवानी है, recites Amitabh Bachchan in the song that Dhoni has chosen to bid us farewell with after nearly 400 days since we saw him walk back to the pavilion wearing the Indian jersey at the ICC World Cup semi-final. But the 16 years that he served in Indian cricket was anything but pal do pal, especially in the history books as he finishes off as India's most successful captain. His accolades are there for all of us to see, but how much do we know about the man himself? He's had the spotlight on him throughout his career, yet he's always managed to remain in the shadows, and not many people have been successful in breaking through that barrier of Mahi's privacy. From avoiding even carrying a phone to being unreachable during important announcements, including the birth of his daughter Ziva, there are many stories about how Captain Cool has always been hard to track down and how he always kept people on their toes about his next move. And in this episode, we'll dig into some of those anecdotal stories about this legend. In this podcast, you'll hear from Rajdeep Sardesai, author of Democracy's 11, The Great Indian Cricket Story, Amrit Mathur, senior cricket writer and former general manager of the BCCI and manager of the Indian cricket team, and Chandresh Narayan, a senior cricket writer and ex-media officer for ICC, who talk about their rare interactions with Dhoni and their impressions of this cricket icon. You're listening to The Big Story, the podcast where we dissect the headline-making news for you. And I'm your host, Shorbri. Cricket enthusiasts already know everything there's to know about Dhoni's career. Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been a top-flight cricketer and unarguably one of the most successful captains that the Indian cricket team ever has had. The only captain to win all the 3 ICC trophies, the most stumpings in international cricket, the highest individual score by a wicketkeeper in ODIs, Dhoni's heroics will be hard to match up to. And from rivals to teammates to fans, everybody is obviously lamenting the end of an era with the news of his retirement from international cricket. His journey in Indian cricket started many years ago when he was a TT at Kharagpur station. He was recruited on the basis of sports quota due to his cricketing talents. And Amrit Mathur, who was heading Railway Sports back then, talks about how he had rescued Dhoni from the Railways contract.
Yeah, actually I didn't know about him because he was a cricketer who had been recruited by the Railways then. And he wasn't part of the Indian Railways team. And he was playing for his zonal railway, but not making much headway when it came to Ranji Trophy. So he requested me that he wanted to leave because he had got a better option, job opportunity. But there was a contract of employment which did not allow release of a player recruited on a sports quota. So he made a request that if he could be released from that contract so that he could join the new job that was being offered. So I agreed because that's the policy we were following in the railway sports, that if somebody gets a better opportunity to go ahead in life, we don't stand in the way and cite that contract that he signed. So we made an exception for Dhoni, as we did for many others, and it just happened that he rose to become the great player that he did later, and maybe the Railways missed out. But anyway, I thought at that time we made a fair decision of allowing somebody to go ahead in life.
Chandresh Narayanan had met Dhoni in his early years in 2004 when he was still unknown in the cricketing world. And nobody seemed to have his contact number even back then, and Mr. Narayanan had to track him down through the Jharkhand Cricket Association. The eventual meeting not only left an impression, but perhaps Mr. Narayanan was one of the few who managed to get Mahi's phone number.
So, Shorbari, I think that I really feel very old when I talk about Mahendra Singh Dhoni now. I thought I was feeling old when Sachin Tendulkar retired, but when I recount Mahendra Singh Dhoni over the years, I'm feeling really old. 2004 was the first time that I spoke to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and at that time he was an unknown quantity, unknown player. Nobody knew about him, and I remember making a call to the Jharkhand State Cricket Association office, looking to set up an interview with a prospective India player and a newly selected India A player who was likely to make an impact. At that time, interestingly, Dinesh Karthik was little ahead of him on the pecking order. And it was expected that Parthiv Patel was already playing for India at the time. And Dinesh Karthik was likely to be the next in line. And then it was going to be Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And I remember calling him at the Jharkhand State Cricket Association office. They made me wait while he came from the practice session. And I will still not forget the fact that he told me, I'm really sorry and आपको मैंने wait कराया. I'm really sorry and he profusely apologized. I took down details about his career and everything. And at that time, India A players profile pieces were not really in vogue because at that time the major attention was focused on the national team players who at that time were all superstars of Indian cricket: Kumble, Tendulkar, Ganguly, Dravid. And this guy, and I was like, in your mind you're thinking, he's one of those young guys trying to make his mark in international cricket. And you sort of dismiss it in your mind. And then before he kept the phone, he said, "Kya aap mera number le lenge?" So he gave me his numbers and landline number and mobile number and everything. I think I also got his father's mobile number, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. And over a period of time, then, your attention focused to other things and he forgot about that. But as he made his debut and he made his impact, my mind went back to that call and I realized that guy that day who spoke to me was not the same guy who was now playing for India.
And speaking of phone numbers, in an age when people have endless options to stay connected, Dhoni remains elusive. And there are several stories about how hard it's been to get in touch with him, as he often avoids even carrying a phone when he's focusing on cricket. In fact, as the rumor goes, just a week before the ICC World Cup 2015 began, when his daughter was born, his wife Sakshi had to contact teammate Suresh Raina to share the news of Ziva's birth with Dhoni. Mr. Narayanan also talks about how, over the years, having Mahendra Singh Dhoni's number became a prized possession for those who had it.
Over the years, I think that became the thing. Having a Mahendra Singh Dhoni number was like a prized position because over the years, not many have been able to track him down. There have been stories about how selection meetings have got delayed because the selectors have not been able to track down the captain. And it's been difficult over the years to track him down. There has been another canard spread that, previous Lakshman was trying to reach Mahendra Singh Dhoni before he was supposed to announce his retirement because he was the captain then and he wasn't able to get through to Dhoni. And, his numbers constantly changed over the years.
Rajdeep Sardesai says that while he was writing his book Democracy's 11, The Great Indian Cricket Story, he managed to get in touch with all the other cricketers but for Dhoni for the longest time. And he recalls the interview with him that came after a 6-month-long pursuit.
Look, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is as elusive as a leopard in a jungle. So it took me, I was writing this book Democracy's 11, which was the story of 11 cricketers. And one of those cricketers was Dhoni. And while I managed to get all the other 10, including Virat, in the space of, say, about 12 months, I had to wait for Dhoni till May 2017 for about 6 months, just waiting for him to say yes, because it was impossible to get in touch with him. And I didn't know how to reach out to him till I finally accosted him at an IPL party, which had been thrown by someone from the team that he was playing for, the Pune team at the time. And that's when he turned and said, "I know you've been chasing me for 6 months." So I said, "Yes, can you please give me some time?" And he finally said, "Okay, come tomorrow to the hotel." And next thing I know, I'm in the hotel. He puts a "Do Not Disturb" sign outside his door, says, "Please don't disturb me. I'm going to be talking to Mr. Sardesai for the next couple of hours." Puts the phone off the receiver and gives me 2 hours of quality time. and speaks about cricket in great depth. And no questions when he said, "I won't answer this or that."
But coming back to Dhoni's career, his style has always been a point of fascination, and most people agree on how he was different from everybody else as a captain, as a cricketer, as a communicator, and a leader. He only did what was required, nothing more, nothing less. Mr. Mathur talks about how MSD had his own style.
See, he's always been like this. That he was captain for a very long time. He captained 60 Test matches and 200 one-day games. So he always kept a distance between him and the media. And he did only what was required in terms of mandatory interactions with the press before and after a game. So that's a matter of choice. Some people are more sort of friendly, open. Some are more reserved. So Dhoni had his own style. And he generally kept his own counsel. He was not the type to make statements or even talk excessively in team meetings. Because if you talk to people in CSK, they are perhaps the only franchise which has the least number of meetings and the shortest meetings. Because Dhoni doesn't believe in long lectures or long strategy sessions or in-depth analysis. He goes by gut, he goes by instinct, he goes by his own sort of preparation and understanding of the team and players. So everybody is different, but what is important is that he was very, very different compared to the rest. He went against the flow in terms of practically everything he did as captain, as a communicator, as a leader, in terms of his personal behavior and conduct, in terms of his strategy. So he was unique in that manner, and he stands out because he's different from everybody else. Everybody else is doing and acting in a particular manner, and Dhoni goes completely against the grain.
As Amrit Mathur says, Dhoni went against the flow in practically everything he did, and he always kept people guessing about his next moves. Chandresh Narayanan recounts how Dhoni kept everybody on tenterhooks with toss and national anthem call times.
Obviously, what happened was during that tournament, we were involved in Cardiff, and we would see each other quite regularly. But he really gave me heart attacks during that tournament because we were really pressed for time at that time because we had specific times for toss, specific time for the teams to step out during the national anthem because everything is linked to satellite timings and world feed and so on and so forth. It used to be a nightmare till the time the Indian team would step out or till the time that Mahendra Singh Dhoni would step out for a toss. The producers, the floor managers, the directors, everybody's panicking all around. But this guy, completely chilled out. He would not really bother about what the others are thinking. I am panicking outside the dressing room. The team manager says, I can't do a thing till he decides himself to step out. And no one else would move. I would just keep an eye from the corner of the room, looking at the watch, saying it's close to deadline time. And I actually went up to him once and said, Mahi, it's time to go. He said, abhi bhi 2 minutes hai, intezar karo. And he would know. He would know what needs to be done. He knew his timings. He knew all the things that needed to be done.
But over the years, Dhoni has shown himself to be much more than just a cricketer, and Mr. Narayanan believes that his non-traditional cricketing persona has added to his aura.
Seeing him, talking to him, you realize that, the guy, there was more to him at that time than just cricket. His life was not cricket. Cricket was a subset of his life. It wasn't like an all-pervasive thing in his life. Right. When he was practicing, when he was involved, he was really involved. Otherwise, he wouldn't let the sport consume himself. That was a change from the previous generation, which was like the Sachin Tendulkar, the Anil Kumble's, Rahul Dravid, and so on and so forth, who were like students of the game. This guy was not really consumed by the game like the others.
Minutes after Mahendra Singh Dhoni announced his international retirement, left-handed batsman Suresh Raina, another remarkable cricketer, too followed his mentor in doing the same. Although they'll be missed in international cricket, we hope to see them in IPL matches soon. If you like listening to this episode, please subscribe to the Big Story playlist for episodic updates. We're live on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, JioSaavn, and most of the other popular podcast streaming platforms. For other podcasts, please log on to the Quint website and check out the podcast section. For any feedback, shoot an email to podcasts@thequint.com.
Thanks for listening. Log on to the Quint's website and check out our other podcasts.